Hey guys, Sam back with you here. It's mid-morning, Tuesday the 19th, and I had a request from a member to take a look at Groestlcoin. Yeah, I wish I could get a pronunciation for this. Groestlcoin. I went to their website to see if I could get an explanation on the pronunciation, and they didn't give it to me. So I'm going to go with, how about we'll go with GRS. GRS to Bitcoin. So here it is. This is it's only available on Bittrex here. So I've got the daily chart up here. Now, so just to be consistent here, so let's go over to CoinGecko, and you can look at our scoring here. So we're at 49. Now I tell you to look for a score of 50 or higher. You know, close enough here that I would look at it. You know, when I go back to it, let's go just again to be consistent. Let's look at where the trading is. Almost all of it on Bittrex and almost all of it to Bitcoin. Well, 99.9% of it. All right, let's get a look here. So, yeah, you know, is there any value in trying to put a count on these? You know, in my view, not really. I don't see any value in trying to determine if this is a 3. You know, what matters is what's happened now from this low. So we have a pump, a dump, another pump, and you know we have not gone all the way back down. So potentially you have, I don't know. You know, when I look at this, I don't see anything that I would be trading here. Here's what I see. I see just a giant range. So you know, you've got here are the wicks. You know, the bodies to the wicks up here. I see this, and then I see, you know, just again kind of a range down here. So I just see a range bound market. Now we've had a pump here. So let's go down. Let's go to the 4 hour and see if we can make sense of this. So let me scrunch it up a little bit here so we can. So you know, maybe that's a 1, 2, 3, but I just see sideways. I don't see any sustainable trend here. I see an attempt at it and a complete rejection. Now, again, potentially another attempt at it. You know, is it another rejection, or do we have something, you know, real happening here that would take us out of this range that we've been in? You know, at least for the last 6 weeks. Do we get out of this range? Well, I certainly would want to see a break to new highs here, and I would want to see some structure. If it's going to trend, can we get a 5-wave structure to encourage our confidence in that structure? So given that we've kind of outlined that we're in a range here, let's take it down here. So I'm going to go actually down to the hourly and see if there's anything that we can get out of this. So, you know, it's kind of the same thing here. So here's an attempt at a 5-wave at A, B. You know, it's just ugly. So for me, if I were, you know, just checking in to see what's going on with GRS, already I'm gone. I don't like this action. Maybe I've got something here, but it's not particularly clean. So, you know, if we it's hard to even call that a 1-2, because then could you call this an 8? No, I wouldn't. So I'm doing this for a member, but for me, I'm already gone. I'm gone to the next trade. Next coin. But I suppose you could make this case that you had, you know, maybe there's a 3, 4, 5 coming here. So you know, again, just to be consistent, because I do this for my members. So there's you know, maybe you make the case that you have a diagonal there, although I don't even love that. So into a 1-2. All right. So it could. Are we getting technical at all? So if I pull that from the 2, you know, I don't love it, right? You don't have great subdivision here. So. You know, you double to maybe, so I guess you could get a 1, 2, 3, 4 into a 5, so you double top into the 5 of the third. So you can make the case for the third there, and we've come down here. And let me open this up. I'm gonna even go to the 15-minute and see if I can get a better count on this. So I'd be inclined to put the 3 over here on the assumption that we have 1, 2, 3. A, B, C into the third there. Then we've got the deep spike down here, which at least comes down to challenge the 50. So I suppose you can make a case that there was a trade there, although it's kind of ugly. So if you're getting an A, B, C, you know, there's the A, there's the B. Could that be the C? Yeah. Well, there's that triangle that we've looked at many times in crypto. I guess you could make the case that you have this now that's trying to break out. So you might have that little shallow C that we have just been experiencing all over crypto. So maybe that's there. If that's going to go, I've come from the daily chart all the way down to the 15-minute. If that's going to go, then that's that's potentially my 4. I get an algo target up here, so I've got an algo target. Here's my first one. Here's a second one. If that's going to stay, I would measure from my 1, that might play. So I'm already to and through here. So let's measure from my 4. If that is my 4, well then I get a little cluster up here. So this might be a reasonable target for this. Now keep in mind I'm all the way down on 15 minutes. So if this is going to go. And we're going to get up here as a 4 to complete a 5 up here, which that may well be the case. Well, I suppose you could make then the case that you have just the start on a 1 wave. So if this becomes a 5th, if we go up and realize that as a target here for a 5th, and we may not stop there, but if we're going to go up and get there, I'm going to put this in a lower degree so it'll make sense when we look at it in context. Let's go to sub-minuet. Okay, so there potentially you've got this move up to complete that, which would give us a 1 wave. Now let's go back out to an hourly and get a sense of where that would put us. So if that's a 1, and we're now going to break out, so here would be this would at least give us some suggestion or encouragement that we're breaking out of this range that we've been in. So possibly you get in that context, then we'd have this. So from our low here, I guess I would start here. So from our low here, here's 1. Then we're looking for a 2, 3, 4, 5. So that might be there. That might be there. So let's, again, I'm hypothesizing now because I'm not up here to really confirm that as a completed 5-wave structure. But there it is, laid out on the hourly. It could play. So first we need to get up here and confirm that I've got a good impulsive structure. So that would play as potentially a 1 wave. And then the real opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, would be looking to get long into the 2. Well, we know the high probability zone for the 2 is between the 50 and the 618. So potentially you have this setting up. I personally would not be a buyer here looking for that move. It's not good enough here. And historically, it's just been a lot of failure attempt, and then it's getting crushed down. So does it go? Well, it certainly could. All of the ingredients are there for that to complete as a 5-wave. So, if you're looking at this for the first time, well, that's potentially your pivot that you'd be looking for to say, okay, well that plays. We've got at least decent subdivision here to set up for a completion. So if it does complete, just for the sake of the exercise here, well then you'd go all the way back to the start of that 5-wave structure, which I would pull from there, and that would give you this as your 2 zone. So given the variables here, given that it's at 49 and not 50 on the CoinGecko scale, given the very sideways range-bound trading that we've seen, I would certainly wait, and I would want to see that, maybe some subdivision into the 5th here to give me more confidence that I've got a good impulsive structure. Then I'd be looking to maybe take it along. And again, we're just hypothetical here. So if we pivot here, we come down here into this box, well then, then I'm feeling a little bit better about the potential that we've started some sort of impulsive structure. Right now, it's just a wait and see. If someone were long, I'd be conservative here. I'd have my stop maybe under this pivot. Since at least we came down to the 50 and the algo's got a fill there, that potentially, plays. So looking here, again, the median line doesn't have any bearing because we're just hypothetical there. So this potentially could play. If we get up here, then I like it a lot better for a setup for the 3rd. Of course, I'd want to see just the kind of subdivision that we would like to see. If I put the wave on that so you get the idea, then so if we get something like that, then I'd get more interested. then if I were to see that kind of good setup, that would imply to me that now we're getting out of this range and we're teed up here for this thing to go impulsive and get into a third. Until then, it's a wait and see. I know it's a good project. I've traded it before. I know it moves, but until I see that, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting on it. So there you go. That's a quickie. There's just 10 minutes on that one. But my suggestion is sit tight on that and wait. Look for the better entry down below. Okay, guys, that's it for now.